New year, new laptop. This is officially the lightest Windows Copilot Plus PC. It's the new ASUS Zenbook A14. And like I mentioned, super lightweight at 980 grams, so coming in just under a kilogram. And with the amount that I travel, I crushed over 200,000 miles in 2024. Trust me, every single gram counts when you're commuting, when you're carrying this around in a bag. Having a lightweight portable PC or lightweight laptop is so important. It's light enough that I can obviously just grip with two fingers. I can even kind of balance it just on my hand like this. I was lucky enough to check out this laptop. ASUS had an event in Toronto where we got a very first look. So it comes in two different colors, depending on what region you're in. This one is called Zabriskie Beige. Hopefully I'm saying that right, or the standard Iceland Gray. I'm personally digging the beige. That's my color preference. And you can also spec it in some different options, all the way from the base Snapdragon X processor up to the Snapdragon X Elite. But the reason how ASUS has made this so lightweight, they work really hard. Components of the PC, like for example, the heatsink, a lot of other parts have really been redesigned to keep obviously weight down. It's made out of ASUS's Ceralunium, which is their version of aluminum infused with ceramic. And depending on the oxidization, that really dictates the color. That includes the lid, the keyboard, the bottom case. And if you haven't seen the material before, it's scratch resistant, it's smudge resistant, it helps with greasy fingerprints. It's really a nice material to have, especially when you use a laptop daily. It takes that, wear and tear. It doesn't smudge up or dirty over time like you see with other darker laptops, especially this darker gray. And it does have some inherent flex to it. It doesn't make it feel cheap in any way. And that of course in turn keeps the laptop super light. In terms of the rest of the I/O, the ports, you've just got, the standard ones. You've still got HDMI 2.1, two USB-C ports, headphone jack, and the USB-A on the other side. And like I mentioned, there's a couple different specs that you can grab this in. So it's either the Snapdragon X Elite or the Snapdragon X Plus. The great thing that we saw with Snapdragon chipsets, obviously that performance, but the battery life has just been unreal, really on par with MacBooks, which a lot of people kind of compare these to. So with these, you can get 32 hours of video playback. So even on, the longest flight that I did, for example, was India, Delhi to Toronto. That was 17 hours, able to use this completely without charging it. Even for heavier tasks, I was editing in Lightroom, tweaking some photos, my daily tasks like sending emails, just being productive on the device. You're looking at around 20 hours, and you never typically know when you're on the move, when you will charge it up. So that's obviously, I'd say, the biggest benefit of this. The screen, which you can grab in a couple different options, the size remains the same. So 14 inches, full HD OLED, or you can get up to a 3K panel as well. It's not touch, which I typically never use touchscreens anyways. And for the rest of the build, like I mentioned, Ceralunium keyboard, fully backlit, very low profile, and nice size trackpad, which has a very satisfying and premium feel to it. Speakers, I would say, are just okay. They are high fidelity. They are only rear firing, which you see that grill on the bottom. You've got nothing else around the side. Typically when I'm on the go, I usually have headphones in anyways. Even when I'm here in studio, I usually have those on. So that's not the biggest deal. And it also just has a front-facing camera for all your Zoom calls. Once again, simple, gets the job done, nothing too groundbreaking, and still keeps the bezels nice and thin. This being a Copilot Plus PC, obviously the big push even from last year was all around AI. This has up to 45 tops for the NPU. Typically, I ask Copilot like simple questions. By the time you're watching this video, this is being launched at CES. So for example, where is the best place to stay at CES in relation to the Las Vegas Convention Center? Very bougie of Copilot. It mentions that the Encore at the Wynn, it's one of the pricier ones, but it's right. It's actually right next to the convention center, which makes a lot of sense. Can you help me script a video for the new ASUS Zenbook? It gives a pretty good breakdown of talking points, so like design and build, display, performance, graphics. I typically don't script my videos. I kind of just talk about my experience with the device, but with the volume of stuff that I'm putting out at the beginning of the year in CES, it becomes so hectic. Those are actually like useful AI features that I would use like on the daily, but it'll be interesting to see how AI evolves kind of over the year in actual real world usage rather than like those image generators, which kind of cool to see on a demo, but I don't actually use on the daily. Remember, this has no real dedicated GPU. It can handle some like light games. I was running Overwatch at a decent frame rate. I actually got back into playing a bit of StarCraft 2. That's a game that I grew up on. You're not gonna really be crunching AAA titles on this. This is really around that lightweight performance that you just wanna stay productive with. 980 grams, a laptop that you can really hold and kind of carry around with just two fingers will be tough to beat. If I do end up logging more than 200,000 miles miles this year. I'll probably get disowned by my wife and by my dog, but I am looking forward to carrying this around in my tech travel pack. It's a super lightweight laptop that still feels premium. It doesn't sacrifice on the build. Ceralunium is such a nice material. I do kind of wish we still had some of the OG Zenbook lines, but once again, this is quite minimal. It just says obviously ASUS Zenbook on it. And PS, I also saw at the event, if you want something a bit more budget friendly, of course the Zenbook A14s, those are over that $1,000 mark. You're paying for that lightweightness, for the design. This is the VivoBook, both the 14 and 16 inch. These are laptops under that $1,000 mark Canadian, so in the US these are even cheaper. They still have a lot of the same AI features. It's just running the Snapdragon X base chip. I mentioned that it does have that compromise of being a bit heavier. It's got a larger chassis, but a solid entry level into the Copilot Plus PC. So if you want a bit more coverage around this, let me know if you want a quick comparison, but I thought I would highlight it since, yeah, obviously a lot of us are trying to save a bit money this year with how expensive things have gotten. So hopefully you enjoyed this second laptop vid of the year. Technically, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.